We love the story of a self-made artist, the genius, the prodigy, the person who arrives fully formed and changes culture through talent alone. No help, no infrastructure, no machine, just brilliance. But the closer you study music history, the harder that story becomes to believe because stars do not emerge in isolation, guys. They emerge from systems. They emerge from timing, technology, labels, audiences, producers, media. Invisible architecture shaping what becomes possible before the artist even arrives. And once you see those systems, you start hearing music differently. I'm Adeolua, and this is Losing the Plot. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, guys. It's good to have you guys here again. Another week, another pop deep dive digest. I was checking Spotify, and apparently the normal amount of episodes per season for a podcast like this is like 7 to 10, and this is our 21st episode. So we're like, we're really pushing, and I understand why the average is shorter because these take so much time to plan and to make. But I love doing it, and I am grateful for you guys for listening, for loving to listen as well. So if you are new here, welcome to Losing the Plot, where we talk about popular culture. We've been focusing a lot of music this season, but we hope that changes next season. I'm just trying to understand how things work behind the scenes, understand trends and how it connects with our human psyche, and it's great and it's fun. And if you are a return listener, welcome back. I call my listeners Crown Plotters, which I've got some feedback that is very interesting. But you know what? I'm keeping it. That's my name, and I'm keeping it. And welcome back. Thank you for being here again. I'm really grateful to have you guys. As I've been mentioning for the past couple of God knows how many episodes now, next week's episode is our final one for this season. 22 episodes. 22 episodes is crazy. Which also means I've been 22 weeks in this year so far because I've done an episode every single week of the year. So 22 episodes is crazy, and I'm proud of myself. I'm grateful to you guys for listening. And yeah, we'll wrap it up for season 1 next week, and then we'll be back in the fall. We'll be back in the fall because we'll be back in the fall because a bunch of things are happening. For those of you who listened last week, between last week and this week, I released my first single in a long time, Flow. Thank you. Applause. Thank you. To I would say to great reception. We got playlisted on Spotify's editorial playlist, which was a really big deal. And I was really grateful for that. And yeah, it's been doing really well. There's so much going on with that, so I'm going to be quite busy. Flow is going to be keeping me very busy. And also in other life news, I'm getting married as well, which is even I can't even say with a straight face, but yeah, somebody agreed to marry me, which is crazy. And so that is also going to be keeping me very, very. I mean, that's been keeping me very busy for a while, but yeah, there's a lot that that's going on with that. So I'm going to need my summer. I'm going to need it. A lot of every week this summer for me. Every week every week for a while for me has been very busy and integral. So, but in the fall, I'll be back. We'll be back in the fall with new episodes and a new vibe. And, so you guys can go back and re-listen to old episodes till then. And yeah, that will be the vibe. So thank you again for listening. So, okay, let's get into today's episode. As I was planning the podcast, I was planning the season, I kept thinking about the last 3 episodes or the last couple of episodes. I really wanted the last episodes to be kind of like when you're in school and you have like an exam and a continuous assessment, and they want to kind of recap all what you have learned in the course of the season or in the course of the school year, with the last couple of classes, to see what you understand and to see how you can apply to the real world, right? I think we talk about a lot of very strong concepts, and a lot of them have been interconnected, which I really appreciate. But I wanted these last 2 episodes at least to tie those in even more, right? And one thing, and this is going to be one of those episodes where I'm just going to keep losing the plot. If you are new, when I say I'm losing the plot, it means that like I'm veering off the conversation I was supposed to be going. It's why the podcast is called Losing the Plot, because I do that in my regular conversation with my friends. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of me just like veering off into God knows where. But I always try to make it back. I try to find my way back. I try to make it back. Okay. But yeah, so this episode, is meant to do that. It's meant to kind of help us recap all we've talked about in the season so far. And one thing that has always grinded my gears, like from as long as I remember, from like even when I first started making music, is that for whatever reason, in the public perception of musicians and artists and artistry, there's this huge there's a lot of emphasis placed on, or a lot of prestige kind of given to works of art that we perceive to be singular, or singular in the sense that they all come from one person, right? Like, so like it's like this person wrote, produced, directed, whatever this entire thing, and for whatever reason that makes their work of art better than someone who collaborated with a lot of people. It's this insistence that genius in one person is more valuable or more meritable or more artistic than genius that is a work of collaboration. I've always thought of it as nonsense. And this is going to be one of those episodes where they're a bit less facts in this episode and more of me just kind of like on my own opinion. So I'll just put like a lot of this is going to be my opinion. So previous episodes I might say things that I think are factual or more truth based, but this one is really my own opinion. So buckle up, kids. But yeah, like this idea that because someone uses a lot of collaborators or works with a lot of people to make a body of work, it's less artistic or it's less deserving of merit than somebody who doesn't, right? And to me, that question is flawed on so many counts. But I'll start from the very first one, is that nobody is a product of themselves. Nobody is a product of isolation. The way you are in the world, the way you operate to the world, the way you present yourself, the kind of clothes you like to wear, the kind of food you like to eat, the kind of food like you don't like to eat, kind of music that you listen to, kind of movies that you watch, kind of football teams you support, all of those are a result of your socialization. There are things that are happening to you, people that you have met along the way of your life that have influenced you to be able to make decisions and have those preferences. A lot of what some people think of as preferences are things that have been passed down to them, right? So nobody's an island. Nobody is it comes out of poof thin air, right? And that transfers to your identity as an artist, right? So even if, for example, and you can never take away I would never take away credit from people that would like learn piano, learn guitar, learn drums, learn bass, also learn how to songwrite, also learn how to sing. That's very impressive, and I'm not knocking it at all. But I believe that multiple things can be true, right? It can be very impressive. I can do all those things and have a level of mastery of all of them. You won't. It's very far and in between that someone has the utmost emeritus level of mastery of more than one thing, right? Usually people that know how to play multiple instruments, write and sing, whatever, they are okay to good at all of those things, but there's their usual, and then they will have like one or two of those things that they're excellent at, right? And they would even tell you that, oh, like I play around on the keys, but like I'm stronger on bass. Like I can help you find your note on the key and play a simple thing, but I'm stronger on bass. Or I can hold a tune, I can find the harmony, but like I'm not a singer, kind of thing, right? So there are some people that there's like they're the Jacob Colliers of the world, the Stevie Wonders of the world, where they can get to a point where they obsess over it so much that they become just amazing at every single thing. But people are fine in between. Most people can do multiple things, but they won't be great at multiple things, right? And that's okay. I'm not knocking that. Art is art. Like the way the art comes to be is peculiar to the art that is being made. So I'm not knocking on those people either. But what I do find to be grating and aggravating is that when someone says that, you know what, I just want to sing. I just want to sing, and I just want to sing, and I just care really about like how my vocals sound and how and the lyrics and the songwriting. So I will employ or I will collaborate with multiple people that I think have these really high skills, share my vision with them, give them room to also bring their own vision in, and let us make something. For whatever reason, we tend to like look a bit down on those people as a society, and it's nonsense to me. Like I find it to be grating because it doesn't make any sense. Because even the person that is doing everything by themselves, quote unquote, is doing all of those things because of the, like, someone taught you how to play the keys, someone taught you how to play the bass, someone you learned how to songwrite from listening to somebody. Those are your collaborators. The people that influence you and help you do those things, those are your collaborators. Those are the people that give your art the DNA that it has. And so if you take all of those influences, and yes, okay, you now mix it among yourself and you make something that is great, but it doesn't make your work automatically immediately better than someone that is actively working with those other collaborators. Because no matter how, there are some really great songs and great movies and things like that have come from one person. I will admit that. But I always think to myself that as great as this singular body of work is from this one person is, we will never know how much greater it would have been with just a bit more perspective from different people. We will just never know, because we have accepted it as a classic, and that's fine. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying that collaboration is important to me anyways. So that's my really long spiel in the beginning. Let's get into the episode. So the entire season, like I mentioned, has been about one idea. Has really been about one idea, not albums, not genres, not even artists. It's been about systems. I've been trying to show you guys through the different episodes that we've had that this is not just this thing. Like when we talk about Taylor Swift, we're not just talking about Taylor Swift. We're talking about the systems that allowed her to thrive, the systems that allowed us to perceive her the way that we perceive her. For example, in episode 1, we talked about Adekunle Gold's calculated creation of Fuji album, and we broke that down and we discovered that the albums are never just albums. In episode 2, we talked about how blockbusters are engineered, and we showed you how, like, the similarities and differences that some blockbuster albums have, and how, some of it is replicable and some of it is not. We talked about technology in episode 3, and we talked about how technology often rewrites the rules of music itself. So whenever there's a new technological advancement in science, it affects how we make music and how we receive music. In episode 18, we explored sound factories. So we talked about record labels, and we talked about the importance of record labels and how record labels have given us some of the best artists in the world, and how those systems have been helpful. In last week's episode, or not last week's episode, but in episode 19, we talked about how producers shape eras, right? And so we've seen that throughout music and art in general. We can use music as an allegory or a metaphor for art in general. That systems are important. And you know what makes systems? People make systems. Collaboration makes systems. Working together hand in hand with people of different types of art forms and backgrounds and knowledge, skills, and all that. Those are what makes systems. And I think today we arrive at the biggest illusion in popular culture, especially. I think this is probably prevalent in a lot of genres, but in popular culture discourse, we obsess over the self-made star. We obsess over not just stars. We obsess over self-made billionaires, which is crazy. Because I'm not going to go into that today, but like we obsess over self-made billionaires, self-made rappers, self-made this, self-made that. It's a thing, but first of all, it's a myth. Nobody is self-made. It's let me take a second. Let me breathe. I'm so sorry. This is a topic I'm so passionate about, because it's just, if you use your thinking brain to break down what it would mean to be self-made, it would be so obvious that it's a myth, right? Because history tells a different story. Pop culture, yes, is obsessed with individuality, the singular genius, the chosen one, yada, yada, yada. And honestly, the narrative is emotionally satisfying. Like, I do understand why people like the idea of a self-made anything. It's in part a result of projection. It's in part a result of, it's that, like, if this person made it, I can make it, and if this person made it by themselves with no help from anybody, just willpower and talent, then I have a lot of willpower and a lot of talent, I can make it too. But it's not true. I was listening to a podcast the other day about how a lot of startup companies have this, like, founder story, and how a lot of the founder stories of a lot of startup companies and even big tech companies today are myths. Like, they did not happen. So in the podcast episode, this person took the biggest founder stories. I won't mention the names of the companies, but the biggest thing that is probably what we are thinking about, or the ones they're thinking about. And he was like, okay, let's try and let's fact check these stories. And most of them were not true. They were just stories that these people cooked up to inspire their employees and to as a marketing technique. So we love a startup story. We love we started in my garage, in my basement, and out of nowhere, just by a stroke of luck and the universe coming together, this and this happened. Kismet things happen for sure. There are things that happen that are fate inclined and destiny calling. But what sustains them and makes them systems is collaboration, is working with other people. Because what all these individual myth stories do is that they simplify success. They make greatness feel personal instead of structural, and that's not how greatness works. Systems are less romantic than talent, right? Usually more powerful. So you think when someone says that, oh, I actually made it because my manager did a market study research, survey research of what people between the ages of 18 and 25 were listening to, and then we turned my branding to fit the branding of a similar artist of that time, and then that doesn't sound romantic. That doesn't sound like something that you can just quickly tell and inspire you on a sad day. But I used to busk around the city playing guitar, and my mom would follow me, and then one day someone put a video of me on YouTube, and then Usher found it, and that would get the waterworks going. It's provocative. No, it's not. It gets the people going. Yeah, but the truth is, as we've seen throughout the seasons, that no artist succeeds alone. And it's not because they aren't talented. It's because culture itself is collaborative. Let's look at some examples. I'll talk about a couple of my favorite examples. Let's talk about Michael Jackson and MTV. We talk about Michael Jackson a lot in popular culture because of how much of a behemoth he was during his imperial era, and how since after Michael Jackson there has not been another Michael Jackson really. It will be hard for somebody to be famous the way Michael Jackson was famous in today's world. It would be too difficult. When we talk about Michael Jackson, we talk about Michael Jackson in relation to singular greatness more than anybody else I can think of. But even Michael Jackson's rise is deeply connected to systems. For example, we discussed here before that one of the things that has made Michael Jackson the cultural behemoth that he was music television. In 1981, MTV launched, and initially the network was leaning towards favoring white rock artists, and black artists had to struggle for rotation. But as we talked about in this podcast, in 1982, just a year after MTV comes, Michael Jackson creates Thriller, and everything changes. Thriller becomes the best-selling album in history. It had over 70 million copies sold globally, had 7 top 10 Billboard 100 singles, right? And just as much as those stats are impressive on the music side, Jackson also made impressive visuals, iconic visuals for Thriller. And Michael Jackson didn't just master the music, he also mastered the new visual economy that television had created. So videos like Billie Jean, Thriller, those videos became global cultural events all over the world. So Michael Jackson is brilliant, but MTV was one that amplified his brilliance exceptionally. There's a level of Michael Jackson's career and mainstream power that we don't even get to discuss if not for his music videos, if not for his dominance there through the help of MTV. And also, he also brought MTV to a new form because then people aspire to be on MTV. So it's and that's the thing about collaboration is that sometimes we like to think about these kind of relationships as like somebody's giving or taking more than the other person, but usually they kind of intersect and they rub it together much more closer than one would think, right? Another person that I know we talk about is when it comes to singular greatness in popular culture and popular music discourse is none other than Beyoncé Giselle Knowles Carter. And Beyoncé is an interesting artist to talk about because as much I feel like similar to Taylor Swift in that way that she's as loved as she's hated by many. And it depends on what you're talking about. So I know that, for example, there was a whole controversy when Beck won Album of the Year over Beyoncé Self-Titled, and one of the justifications for Beck's win was that Beck wrote every song and played every instrument on the album, and Beyoncé had like a sea of collaborators, and that sample of that story never leaves me. I think about that a lot. I think about how culturally impactful self-titled was, how it changed how people made music, how people put out music. But because one person, because she works the people, which is also very insane to me, is that anybody that works in the music industry knows how like hard it is to come by like a really good check. You know what I'm like? Hey, wake it up. Speaking of really good checks, let me plug myself in here real quick. If you're listening to this episode before May 23, on May 23, I'm going to be performing at the East Town Get Down Festival in Calgary downtown. It's an amazing festival where a bunch of local Calgary artists are going to be performing. I'm really honored to be on that lineup. Like, it's like the best of artists in Calgary, and it's like if you get your ticket for the festival, you get to come to all the nights, and all of the venues are within like a 3-minute walk from each other. Also, my band and I will be playing at Antu's Kitchen, and our set is so good, you guys. Oh my god! Yesterday was our last rehearsal before the show, and I'm just like, I was just like so pumped. Like, you know when like you're like, this is such a really good set. Like, this is a good combination of songs, and I'll be performing Flow for the first time since I dropped it at the venue as well. So if you're in Calgary, May 23rd, 7 p.m. Antu's Kitchen, be there or be square. Okay, back to the show. Okay, so Beyonce, it's hard to come by a good check in music, right? So it is, you would think that this would encourage us to want to hire as many people as possible in any musical or artistic project, because you want everybody to eat, right? If only you is playing bass and everything, what about the guy that only plays bass, right? So I also find that take to be so interesting for that way. But anyway, one of the reasons why Self-Titled was such a great album and had such an impact on people was because of the collaborations. And I'm not talking about Ochim. Another thing that, okay, let me finish that sentence. I'm not talking about guest features like Beyonce featuring, I don't know, Frank Ocean. I'm talking about the people that worked on the record, people that mixed, people that mastered, the people that worked on the arrangement, people that worked on the songwriting, people that worked on the visual direction. Everybody mattered. Now let's talk about features for a second. One way to really piss me off. This is a very angry episode. I don't like that. But one way to really piss me off is to be rolling out your album and use no features as a marketing campaign. Because to me, you are very unserious. There's actually nothing more unserious to me than someone going like, you know what, on this album, I had no features. Shut up. And there's a genre in particular that does this a lot. No features is one of the most misleading phrases in modern music, because your album will have 20 writers, 8 producers, 10 engineers, 54 vocal arrangers, 10 session musicians, 2 creative directors, and yet you have the audacity to come on this stage and go on Blue Ivy's internet and tell me that, my album had no features, man. It all comes from me, man. I just wanted to, dig in deep and give people just from my soul. Shut up. So you mean you had no features as by you have nobody give you a verse on your song? Okay, all right, but you didn't do every single thing yourself. It's when people say no features, they expect us to have this feeling of, wow, what an artist. But it's like, okay, you didn't send your song out for verses. Do you not have friends? The idea that you not having features on your album, or having people that can collaborate with you to help tell your story even better, or with an even clearer mark, or even in a more distinct way, and praising that is so. It's so, and furthermore from that is that, like I mentioned, there are tons of people who have worked with you on this record, who are working with you on this record, because they are not features, quote unquote. Does that mean that they didn't collaborate on the album? Please be so for real. That no features thing, it's back to Beyonce. So in 2013, she dropped self-titled album without any traditional rollout, without anyone, and it was a sudden release, right? And the album went on to sell over 800,000 copies digitally in the first 3 days. And at the time, it became the fastest selling album in iTunes history. There's also not getting to any of those strategy wise. Oh my, strategy wise and just sorry about that, guys. Strategy wise and community wise, without working with people, without collaboration, right? So let us talk about, okay, and also that album becomes the thing that brings in surprise releases and changes how people would continue to make music going forward. We talked about 2013 in episode 3, I believe. I was talking about how it wasn't just a year, it was an industry rupture, and it changed really how people would go about rolling out different things as time would go on. So, fantastic. Let's move on to Taylor Swift. Okay. Speaking of people that I think Taylor is interesting in that I feel like Beyonce does this a bit too. Taylor is interesting in that she's a huge part of why we perceive her the way we perceive her. She's she really is I don't know if it's a victim or mastermind of her own doing. And she's often framed as being uniquely relatable, confessional, emotionally transparent. But the real genius of her work is in the narrative architecture, because she understands more than anybody probably in music right now fan psychology, internet culture, media cycles, identity management. So when she releases albums, she also creates participatory works, or she has done that for the longest of times. So think about the Eras tour becoming one of the highest grossing tours in history. Think about how she framed, because everybody that goes, I think Eras tour is a good example of Taylor's marketing genius, right? If you go to an artist's concert, they are going to play songs from every era of their music. They just will. They will go through the entire catalog and play the hits, right? That concept is not in itself new, but branding it as the Eras tour was just so intelligent in gravity defying ways, right? It was just such an intelligent thing to have done, because it now makes it more of a audience engagement ploy. But again, there's no Taylor Swift without collaboration. There's no that level of success without pure artistry, right? We talked about Afrobeats and global systems as well, because Afrobeats also tells the same story. Like Afrobeats artists, Afrobeats literally becomes what has become today because of collaboration. It becomes, we get One Dance by Drake and it features Wizkid, and that takes it to new heights. We get we get what's the Skepta song, Bad Energy, with Skepta featuring Wizkid. And then after that, like we start to let's park here for a second. This is a very angry episode. I'm gonna get angry again. But you guys piss me off. I don't know why y'all do that. Why do you piss me off? Why do y'all like to see me this way? We have been building a genre for better of 2 decades, working tirelessly to export the genre out of the shores of Africa, out of the shores of Nigeria, and take it to the world, and have the world understand it, however complex that might be, but have them recognize it as something to be reckoned with, right? Why then will you, the listener, open your phone, set up a ring light, and start taking down collaborations of Afrobeat songs with foreign artists? Why would that be a thing to do? Why is that an intelligent thing to do? It's so silly. It's one. Oh God, I just don't know why people just. The thing that grinds my gears the most about this fake outrage for TikTok about this song did not need the remix. The remix is not for you. Oh my God. Is the light bulb on? Are we upstairs? The remix is not for you. The remix is not for you. The remix is for the fans of the person that they are remixing the song with, so that those people can become fans of your own faith, so your faith can get more visibility. Are people daft? Oh my God, the remix is not for you. If you don't like the remix, listen to the original. the the teams of these artists, the record labels of these artists, they spend so much money, so much time, so much effort to find people with bigger platforms many times, with more visibility that will help their artists' long-term careers. And they find these people, they're able to sign these ridiculous contracts, mind you, where they are paying through their nose, paying through their eyes to get these collaborations going, to make music videos for these collaborations, to do roller plans for these collaborations, so that their artist music can reach a wider audience than you, the ridiculous Bumbleclat native audience, who the remix is not for. Because if you know the original, the remix is not for you. And it's not even something that you need to be in the music industry to gauge. You can just use your common sense. Like, if Tems and Wizkid have a song and Justin Bieber gets on it, doesn't that just show you that, oh, now Justin Bieber fans will know who Tems and Wizkid are? Is that now the time? Is that now the time to be on phone, opening ring lights and start saying, oh, this remix, these are the top 5 Afrobeat remixes that I don't like because this song is not new. It's not for you. I blame COVID. COVID has really changed the world that we live in. In many ways, the worst. In many ways, the worst. In honest to Blue Ivy, in many ways, the worst. You people don't have critical thinking skills. Those of you that you never did your homework in school, that were always copying your friends' assignments. We know. Had you done one homework or two, you might have had to use your brain for 10 seconds so you can know how to think through different scenarios and make different choices. But you not do your homework. Literally do not do your homework. They give you homework, you put it in your backpack to the next day. Then at 7 a.m. that morning, you're asking Taiwo, I beg, make I see, and make I copy. And you copied on your paper and you submitted it. Then in the exam hall is very wide, so you sit down behind Taiwo again, and Taiwo is reading you the answers back. You don't have critical thinking skills. Your parents paid thousands of dollars, thousands of naira, thousands of whatever the currency is for you to go to different institutions of learning so you can learn how to think. But you don't engage with any of those things. And then some of you don't even get to anywhere before they started using AI. So there's no even conversation to even be had. You have no attention span, no ability to think or dissect, no ability to hold an opinion for when it matters. Just, ring lights, TikTok, here you are. Anyways, let's move on. That thing really pisses me off. Because you can't just listen to the version that you like. And it's also this thing of like, because I don't like it, the artist is stupid for making it. Because I don't like it, it should not exist. Huh? I'm sorry, who made you the grand dame gatekeeper of good music and bad music? Mind you, if I go to your same music library, I will see some songs that don't have any kind of lyrical structure, no type of tone. You're the same person that listens to, let me not say that. Oh, YOLO, oh, lolo, oh, lolo. But you want to be the Billboard's journalist of the year. They are the 5 top Afrobeats remixes that made no sense. Honestly, I don't know why Afrobeats artists do this. When Afrobeats artists get to this, they start making all these stupid remixes. Fool. Moving on. Okay, so people talk about artists like Wizkid, Burna Boy, Davido, and all those two, and their individual breakthrough. But their breakthrough is not. It's singular to them, yes, but it comes from a system of global conversation. And again, we don't get to that without collaboration, because even many times these artists, when they get to a certain level of fame and success, they start working with producers and writers from different parts of the world, and it reflects in their music. So again, it helps them widen their audience, which is what we want. Right, we don't want them to be niche artists forever. We want them to be able to feed their generations of their children through this music thing, right? So we should help them accomplish that, right? Let me move on. Oh gosh, guys. One thing about me, I can talk myself into being so pissed, man. Oh no, but seriously, that Afrobeats conversation, you guys have. Some of you do if you work in the music industry, and I think because I also have friends that I have friends that work as managers for different Afrobeat artists, major ones. I know it's so much work. Like, effortlessness is truly a myth, which is why one of the reasons why me as a person, I'm not scared of people seeing me try. I try so hard. If you follow me on social media, you can see how hard I try, and I it's not something that I'm ashamed of, because what I've learned is that one day the try hardness will come off will come off to somebody as effortlessness. It'll be like, oh, they're just so good at this. They're just so popular. They're just so good at this. But there's effortlessness is a myth, right? And if you have a goal, like I want my artist or my Afrobeats artist from Mushin to become a Grammy award winning singer, there are lengths people go to. I'm talking about bad lengths, so I'm talking about like strategy lengths, money spending length that they go through. And a lot of that is the easiest off the cuff one is, let me get a bigger artist from a different audience that can bring something new to this song that can expand their reach. What you would hope is that you are building a community of fans and loyal followers who see that vision for you. And even if they don't like the remix, which again, I can't stress enough, is not for them. If you grew up listening to the Starboy album that Wizkid released in his early days, or you listen to For Broken Ears for Thames, the Essence remix with Justin Bieber is not for you. The Essence remix with Justin Bieber is for Justin Bieber fans who did not grow up with Starboy and listen to with For Broken Ears. That's what the Essence remix is for. So they can then go and discover Starboy and For Broken Ears. Does that make sense? Again, you would not. I can always say when somebody did not like went to university, but like they passed university, but university did not pass to them, or did not like the biggest tell for me for someone that is just like not good at critical thinking is people that can't write essays. I'm not talking about writing like a $1 billion word essay that is so fancy. No, like just like give me a thesis, what's your thesis and what are the points you want to back up your thesis with. People that can't do that can't string together an essay. I wish your parents had used that money to help my music career. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the producer system, right? I feel like this is the part of conversation that this entire episode. I think I just made this episode to just rage bait myself because I'm looking at all these talking points and I'm like, why did I do this all in one episode? I'm just going to keep getting increasingly angrier at these points, and that's okay. That's fine. Let's go back to the whole my album has no features thing for a second, right? Your album has no features, but you didn't produce any of the songs on your album. Are you not a clown? Are you a clown? Your album has no features, but you didn't produce any of the songs on the album. Your album has no features, but the part of the song that everybody loves the most is not your lyric writing or your songwriting. It's something that happens with the beat. Your album has no features, but when you heard a certain beat, it inspired you to write in a certain way, in a certain style that made the song a winning song. Your album has no features. I can continue. Producers are very important to the ecosystem of music. I can't overstress that. I feel like the conversations are happening with producers right now because I've had the fortune and sometimes misfortune of working with certain producers, and because of how some of you have treated producers in the past in terms of remuneration, pay, credit, now producers are asking for things that are very interesting. And I was just saying interesting because I still don't think I've fully formed how I feel about some of the new requests they have. But for the most part, I stand with them, because if you have been in a system that increasingly disparages you and does not credit you for the hard work that you do to making something a hit or a success, or get paid proportionally for what your contribution to that work, then yeah, you can start asking for crazy things. And we'll continue to see producers start singing more and more. I'm thinking about SARS and Benson's new EP, I think. Lenny, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna sing a little something on this. Yeah, I'm gonna do something because like the artists have such a history of not properly acknowledging or paying their producers, which is very problematic and very, 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 very bad. We've talked about technology on this. We've talked about technology as well, or we talk about technology as well, in that technology changes what kind of artists become possible. For example, we can say that radio created one kind of star, MTV created one kind of star, streaming has created one kind of star, TikTok has created another kind of star. Every generation makes um has its own different stars based on the technology that is available at that time. And sometimes we confuse um stars for inevitability, saying that like, oh, this person was always going to make it. Maybe not. Maybe if there was no radio, we won't get somebody. If there was no MTV, we will not get somebody. If there was no streaming, certainly if there was no TikTok, there's some of you that have no business being on my phone. But here you are. Here you are. And the audience is part of that system. The audience matters too, because fans are not passive. They amplify, they organize, they defend, they promote. So modern fandoms also, they have a say into what the artist is doing, and they want the artist to know that this is how I feel about what you are doing. This is what I feel about the work that you are doing. And then artists respond to that and sometimes tweak. There are so many times when fans have told their artists or their faves that they didn't like the album cover and they go change the album cover, right? So feedback, that is also collaboration. That level of feedback is also collaboration. So the self-made myth is just that, it's a myth. To me anyway, and I think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous because the self-made management can become harmful because it can erase collaboration, it can erase luck, anytime it can erase access. It will affect how our music sounds and how our art is made if we turn a blind eye to collaboration. And I don't want the takeaway from this video to be that artists are not important, or that artists are lazy, or artists. No, artists are important. Multiple things have to be true at the same time. It's just saying that collaboration is how the world works. It's how we work. You are literally a collaboration between your mom and your dad, or the man and the woman who made you. That's how you got here. And it's the things that you like, the experiences that have shaped you. They are how you are, the way you are. Whether you're hiding from it or running from it or sitting in it, those are the things that are responsible for you. And it's the same thing with art. There's collaboration built in the DNA of making art, especially making something like music. So the artist may light the match, but the systems determine how far that fire can spread. So here's one thing I want you guys to think about today. When you call someone self-made, which invisible structures are you forgetting? What are you not thinking about when you're saying somebody self-made? Because I know you probably mean it in a nice way, but now that we've talked about this, I just want us to reflect on that for a little bit. Who are you disparaging? Whose work and contribution are you making into nothing when you do that? Okay. Well, that has been my time for today, you guys. Thank you again so much for hanging on with us. We have one more episode this season. I'm really excited, really pumped for that. I think so far this season has been about learning how to see the invisible. Structures behind album, system behind sounds, the architecture behind fame. And once you see those systems clearly, music will never sound the same again. Excuse me. Thank you so much for tuning in again today. I'm really appreciated. Like I said, Flow by me is out everywhere. Please go listen, go stream, go do everything. I made Flow with a lot of people. One thing about me, I'm always going to give credit to my people. Flow is my child, yes, but I made Flow with a bunch of people, and I'm really grateful to them for all the work that they put there. And if you're in Calgary, May 23rd, this Saturday coming up, I'll be performing at Anu's Kitchen and by 7 p.m. So please pull up and shop with the boy. Thank you so much, you guys. We have one more episode next week. If you have any feedback for me, adiluwamisgajimo.com. Let me know what you think, what I can work on, what can I do better, and all of those things. Until next time, I'll never leave you without saying this. Greatness isn't a moment. It's maintenance. As long as you're still practicing, you're still progressing. And progress, my friends, never loses. Stay ground. Bye, guys.